And coming up on DC News Now at noon, the end of a legacy. A look at the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II, how she's being honored both in England and right here in the DMV. And later, historic flooding in Puerto Rico. We'll have a look at how people are trying to stay safe as Hurricane Fiona wreaks havoc. And good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for DC News Now at noon. I'm Mark Hall. Meteorologist Damon Matson joins us with a check on the forecast. Damon, happy Monday to you, my friend.
Yes, happy Monday indeed, Mark. Well, we have a good start out there. I can say that much about our weather. This beautiful stretch is continuing into the start of this new week, but there is going to be rain out there for some of us who exactly could see some precip today. We'll let you know in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. Well, the world watched today as Queen Elizabeth II was laid to rest. Locally, the community gathered at British pubs to mourn and celebrate together. DC News Now's Lex Juarez was at one and spoke with people about the importance of coming out.
Local British pubs opened bright and early so community members could honor the life of Queen Elizabeth II together. People who came out here to the Brighton tell me it meant the world as the late monarch greatly influenced their lives. One of the biggest moments in modern history, the longest serving monarch laid to rest, and people tuned in all over the world, including right here in DC.
I just wanted to, wake up and come to this and just pay my respects.
Some British pubs opened for community members to mourn together, and locals who were impacted by the Queen made it a priority to be there.
I'm English from my father's side. He's English and grew up there, and so, the Queen, even though I'm born in the U.S. and have been a U.S. citizen for my life, she's been a big presence.
Her influence seen in the sheer number of people that came out to see her lie in state in the days leading up to her funeral. For one man, it reached into his personal life as he studies the monarchy at a local university.
There's us who are, private citizens. We have private lives. She didn't have the luxury of a private life. She gave herself entirely.
That dedication is something people across the world are inspired by.
I think there is a lack in the U.S. of that sort of neutral but powerful national symbol, that unifying national figure. I mean, we have a flag, but in Britain there's a person and a crown, and that's part of what we're mourning today, but also celebrating.
In Washington, Lex Juarez, DC News Now.
Well, President Biden is joining a long list of world leaders for the Queen Elizabeth II state funeral inside London's Westminster Abbey. On Sunday, the president paid tribute to the Queen's notion of service and said it had been an honor to meet her. DC's Anna Warnicki has more on the president's trip.
President Joe Biden and the First Lady joined the royal family and hundreds of world leaders at Westminster Abbey Monday morning to pay tribute to Queen Elizabeth II.
It's a loss that leaves a giant hole.
The president and First Lady are among the hundreds of thousands of people who have descended on London to bid farewell to Britain's longest reigning monarch. On the eve of Monday's state funeral, President Biden signed a book of condolence after paying respects at the coffin of Queen Elizabeth in Westminster. President Biden recalled his last encounter with the late monarch in June 2021 when he visited Windsor Castle.
When the Queen had us to the castle for tea and we were joking crimpets, she kept offering me more. I kept eating everything she put in front of me.
President Biden was one of 13 sitting U.S. presidents who met with Queen Elizabeth during her 7-decade reign.
It was an honor to meet her. An honor to meet her.
And that was DC's Anna Wernicke. The president and First Lady are expected to return to the White House later tonight. Fairfax County police are looking for the person who shot and killed a 19-year-old over the weekend. Investigators say that Darlin Diaz Flores was shot in an apartment on Saturday in the Alexandria part of the county, and he was taken to a nearby hospital where he later died. This afternoon, police are looking for the person who shot him. If you have any information, you are asked to contact Fairfax Police. The latest in an ongoing story, the Washington Post reporting a former White House aide told the January 6th committee that Representative Matt Gaetz asked for a presidential pardon over sex trafficking allegations against him. Johnny McEntee said that Gaetz asked the former White House chief of staff for a preemptive pardon. Gaetz is currently being investigated for accusations that he paid women to cross state lines to have sex with him and allegedly had a sexual relationship with a minor. Gaetz denies all all allegations. Well, swept away, dramatic new video shows floodwaters carrying away a bridge in Puerto Rico. Hurricane Fiona dumped torrential rains on the island territory over the weekend. Well, this afternoon, the Associated Press reports that the island is without power. And helping those across seas, how one local fire and rescue crew are heading to Puerto Rico in the wake of the hurricane. DC News Now's morning anchor Corey James has more.
Montgomery County Fire and Rescue says they are on their way to help Puerto Rico in the wake of Hurricane Fiona. Maryland Task Force 1 is a team of disaster response crews from Montgomery County trained to respond to both natural and man-made disasters. Now, they are expected to head to the island today and supposed to go over the weekend, but could not fly in because of weather. Heading to Puerto Rico, a team of disaster managers, search and rescue specialists, doctors and paramedics, along with hazardous material and construction specialists. FEMA response teams are also headed to Puerto Rico, and President Biden just approved an emergency declaration for the territory.
All right, thanks to Corey James. And Damon, could we see any impacts here in the DMV of Hurricane Fiona?
No, thankfully enough, it looks like things are going to stay quiet enough for us in that regard. But this storm has been bringing a lot of impact to the island nation. Now, thankfully enough, the center of this storm is pulling away from Puerto Rico. It made landfall on the Dominican Republic earlier this morning, and now it's going to keep moving north and away from Puerto Rico here. But you see some of these higher reflectivities, the colors on the map, that is still rainfall across the eastern part of the country. So unfortunately, not getting a complete break down that direction as Hurricane Fiona continues to churn away. Now back here closer to home, though, we will not see any impacts from Hurricane Fiona. We could have some rainfall coming our direction here. A cluster of rain and storms is crossing the mountains